their words, people that don't steal public funds. If it's your private business, yes, Shore has Sahara Reporter. It belongs to him. If money comes in through a contractor, we know it's his money. He can easily come out to defend. But what the assets declaration tends to kick against is when you cannot defend funds that being traced to you. Now, it tries to prevent a situation where public office holders will get hold of monies that are not supposed to be theirs and make it theirs by hiding, by pretending to make us feel that those monies are theirs. So if we already know this is what you have, then new funds come. If we ask questions, can you defend the funds that are coming in? So if you can easily defend those funds that are coming in, the asset declaration in the past and what you've acquired in the future, what you've accrued over the years, there will not be, will not come to refute what you've declared or try to say you've not done the right thing. That's just it.
You just pointed that President Mohammed Buhari said that he has one cow. And now we're questioning how, some people even say, how come this cow doesn't increase? Some people are saying, you are now saying that now we don't know how many cows are there. But there are some of these issues that we hope that with time that we can get to talk about and then spend more time deliberating on this. But hello, Patience.
Good morning, Vivian. Good morning, Mr. Ade, and good morning to the guests.
Morning.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, on the asset declaration, the question is asset declaration enough reason to show that a presidential aspirant or candidate is corrupt-free?
Well, asset declaration is not enough to show that a candidate is corrupt-free. You can as well declare your assets. You can as well say, this is what I have. But there is nobody controls what you will do in office. Whatever you intend to do in office is solely your own, would I say, is solely a decision of yours. Nobody can decide what you do in office. So someone who might be clean today might as well end up to be a terror to our economy tomorrow. He might decide to loot all the funds because asset declaration only creates this trust. But you are the one who will sustain the trust by your activities in government. Yes.
Come back quickly to you. If you say by your activity, there's a whole lot. I'm
Yeah.
trying to,
Okay.
if you say by your activity in
Okay.
government,
Yeah.
if I am a business owner, I do
Okay.
importation and all
Yeah.
what have you, and while I was a president,
Okay.
and then people patronize me more based on the position that I now occupy in my private business, and now tomorrow people say he become richer while he was president. How do you address that? Because this issue of asset declaration is more than what we are looking. There are a lot of loopholes that really need to be addressed, so we don't fixate on it. And I don't like Patient's question. Is he a guarantee for corruption-free individual?
Okay, you said if the person has a private business.
Because he's not going to stop because he's the president.
It wouldn't stop.
Exactly.
Now, you remember in 2015, there was a debate that Atiku and Peter Obi went for. It was on national TV. They asked him that you invested Anambra State money in your private business. Was it the brewery business and all? They were trying to ask questions. Did your family benefit from it? There are questions coming from left, right, and center. So he was like, yes, I invested it. It is not my personal business. My family has shares there. But the state government made a whole lot of money from it. Now, for a president is not stopped from having his private business, or anybody holding any position. You are not meant to do away with your businesses because you've assumed an office. Now, for companies, every company is governed by the Companies and Allied Matters Act. Now, they have their record. These are records that you can verify. If the transactions that are being carried out by this company, they are there for you to go through. So if monies are coming in, they are not supposed to be coming in, you can easily see it. So if he takes money from the government to put into his personal business, you can easily see it. But if those businesses are bringing money genuinely the way they are supposed to bring, we will not have any business with that. And you can easily declare your asset and go about your own personal business too.
Well,
Why?
we'll,
Yes.
we'll keep going. We'll have, as we make progress into 2023, we'll have more conversations on this, especially as the campaigns begin. But let's get to Ekiti State right away. Serap again, 6 other of Mandemos to compel INEC to obtain information on vote buying. In a suit filed on behalf of Sarah by its lawyers Kolowale Oluwadari and Okpeyemi Owolabi last Friday at the Federal High Court, Abuja, Sarah seeks and other mandemos to direct and compel INEC to seek and obtain detailed information on vote buying by the 3 leading political parties in the 2022 Ekiti State governorship election. Serap said vote buying is entirely an act of election malpractice connected with vested interests, since an election can be said to be free and fair when it is devoid of vote buying. Ending impunity for vote buying and electoral bribery would contribute to free and fair elections. A corruption-free electoral process is essential for building public confidence in the electoral process and the credibility and legitimacy of the 2023 elections. On one of the people's most sacred rights is in the right to vote. INEC has a constitutional and statutory responsibility to ensure the effective exercise of the right of all eligible voters to participate in their own government in free and fair elections. Now, preventing and combating vote buying and electoral bribery would advance the people's right to vote and to participate in their own government, as well as boost the ability of INEC to effectively discharge its constitutional and statutory mandate. And that's where we are at the moment. Ade.
It's interesting to see an enlightened perspective on this as opposed to myself. Barrister, sir, what do you say about this issue of vote buying? Because Serap is on all fronts right now.
Yeah.
And I remember vividly the whole emolument and what people get after being in office, then in Lagos State and some other state. Serap had gone to the length and breadth of, taking note of the amount these persons were paid and even had to publish it nationwide for people to see. So in the issue of vote buying, the state election had come and gone.
Yeah.
If eventually this proves through, what it has for some of the political parties who allegedly might have been indicted in this act?
Well, will anything come out? That's one thing I would like. Will anything even come out of it? That's one thing we should look at. But vote buying, I'm not in support of vote buying. And I feel sad that the people in Ekiti State allow themselves to be used by politicians. In Osun State, you can barely hear about vote buying. People stood for their rights. People decided not to take peanuts in order to vote for their preferred candidate. Now, Davido came out to say that what he saw in Osun State, if it's repeated across the nation, then there's hope for this country. I've been part of elections where they share monies. People come out with 5,000. It's not even up to 10,000 naira that you're seeing. They come out with 5,000 naira, and you see old men and women, people who are already suffering, who don't have up to 1,000 naira in their pocket. You're giving them 10,000 naira. Why won't they collect it? Now, you find out that the government deliberately wants us to be poor in order for us to help them to get back to power. Because someone that is capable of taking care of himself will not want their 10,000 naira. But a hungry man will easily go for that 10,000 naira and sell his vote. Now, would you blame the populace for selling their vote? Of course they are hungry. Most of them are hungry. People are hungry in this nation. There are people that don't see 1,000 naira in 1 week, and you know how terrible it is. The fact that we are working and we have enough to feed ourselves is something to be happy about. Because someone was trying to make a joke sometime. He said he asked Buhari to send 1 million naira, and Buhari was telling him in this Buhari era that you're expecting him to send 1 million naira. These are the things you hear. Now, Sarah has decided to go to court to get an order of mandamus to ensure that INEC carries out the responsibility of investigating vote buying and seeing how to prosecute offenders. That's the right step to take. Now, the issue of vote buying, even in the forthcoming 2023 elections, you will still see vote buying here and there. Your journalists, of course, you'll be on, I know most of you will be on the feeds. You will see for yourself. But for persons that have made up their mind to say this wouldn't happen, it will not happen. But let us see how it goes, what will happen in the court, how they will try to argue their case, whether they have the locus to even institute the matter in the first place to compel INEC, or whether INEC has the time to even carry out, even though they go ahead to get the court order to mandate them, will INEC even have the luxury of time to go about investigating these matters? They might even tell you that the matter is already before the tribunal, because I know an election petition tribunal will already be gearing up, if it's not already in place, to ensure that the Ekiti election is being looked at. The Osun State election, the governor has already contracted 50 lawyers to stand in for him. So will INEC be litigating these issues and still be looking at how to take care of vote buying that has already happened? These are things you look at. It will be very hard for INEC to take out time to go after vote buyers when it's already, some of them are in police custody. The police also has the power to prosecute. So INEC might just want to leave the responsibility for the police or the NSCDC to say how they can carry out the duty on their behalf. That is what I feel. But if Sarah feels they know better, well, the court is there for them to argue out their case, and is okay.
Patience.
All right, thank you very much. Now, on the issue of vote buying, people have always been complaining against vote buying, but then again, some Nigerians, you still find out that they keep selling out their vote. What kind of sensitization or what kind of advice, what kind of word will you put in the minds of such Nigerians that they keep on selling their vote to politicians?
Well, the people in the villages, like I'm saying, the people in the villages do not need any form of advice. They are hungry. And until these people are being fed, they will still continue to sell their votes. But the people that are responsible for carrying out this sensitization will not carry it out. The political parties. The political parties are those who go to the grassroots to canvass for votes. But do they talk about vote buying? No, because on the day of the election, they'll still bring out monies to buy these votes. And this thing keep happening time after time. I cannot leave my present responsibility, my duty as a legal practitioner, and go to the villages to sensitize these people. And INEC also has the responsibility to sensitize the populace, but do they carry out that responsibility? No. They leave it to the urban areas. And the rural areas, if you look at the rural areas, they are the people that bring out the bulk of the numbers when it comes to elections. They are the people that actually come out to vote, because to them it feels like it's something they should carry out. When you come to the urban areas, we are too relaxed. We feel we have made it. After all, we still go about our normal activities. We still get paid. Our salaries will be paid to us at the end of the day. So it doesn't concern us. We might even sit in our houses. But people in the rural areas, people who are hungry, they'll come out for money. There's nothing you can tell them. As far as I'm concerned, there is nothing you can tell. It only takes the grace of God for people in the rural areas to make up their mind to vote for their preferred candidate, especially when they are hungry. Hunger is a factor. Hunger is an opium of the masses too. It's not just religion. So,
all right, let's quickly look at the next story this morning, and that's on insecurity. Terrorists flog abducted passengers, vowed to abduct Buhari El Rufai. The abductors of the abducted Kaduna Abuja train passengers have released another video where the victims were being flogged by terrorists. The terrorists had attacked the Abuja Kaduna train on March 28th, killing 8 and kidnapping no fewer than 61 passengers. Now, the managing director of the Bank of the Agriculture, Alwan Hassan, was the first to be released after reportedly paying 100 million ransom on April 7. Now, 75 days after the incident, the terrorists released 11 persons held in captive, which, according to Tukumabu, the negotiator and media consultant to the Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmad Gumi, described as was achieved following a series of robust engagements with the terrorists and with the approval of the federal government. However, on July 9, 7 of the victims were later released after reportedly paying 800 million ransom. The remaining 43 victims were told to pay 100 million to secure the release of their loved ones. In 2 minutes video, 52 minutes 50 seconds video cited by our correspondent yesterday. The male victims were crying as they were being flogged by the terror. We've looked at this at our opening, but now, specifically on the security situation in Nigeria. Today, we are watching men being flogged. Today, we're watching adult humans being humiliated before the whole world. You made a statement while we're talking about this, and you talked about Nigerians being in position to protest, to shut down the government. Look at Nigeria properly. With the way that people are being impoverished economically, with the way people are being impoverished across the line, from education, talking about us now, to other aspects of this country, from health, just name it. Where are we not humiliated? Now, where are we getting it right as a people? What exactly can we say? This is why I like being a Nigerian as it is right now.
Do I like being a Nigerian? I'm just managing. The fact is, we cannot blame God for keeping us where we are. That's just the thing. But there's in our country, there's nothing to write home about. Now, you made mention of 800 million naira.
That's not including the 100 million that
That's
San paid.
that's close to 1 billion naira, and the country is in
and
serious
this
debt.
is the one we know.
Yeah, this is the one we know. The ones we don't know.
Yep.
Now, that 900 million naira, is it not enough to buy sophisticated weapons to enhance the jobs of these terrorists? This is what
Clearly it is.
I keep kicking against. Now, we have, what's it called? The government have, they've kept mum for a long time. They feel that our lives are not worth it. Now, the first person that was released is, was he a minister for what? That's the first person that he had the 100 million naira to pay. The other persons that were released, maybe let's say the hierarchy is now coming and maybe this person is higher, then the others are being released gradually. Their families are bringing out the money. What if
I am
I'm
supposed to hear you, but your side is loud.
eh?
Go ahead, please.
What if I'm kidnapped? What will happen? That means I'll be there with them forever. It's just a fact. People are suffering. We are feeling this, but nobody is coming out. Now, people are being flogged. Now, imagine this my gentleman here being flogged.
That's you.
The, so you see how terrible it is. Now let's look at it critically. The government has failed us. The Nigerian government has failed us. And I'm not saying it to sugarcoat it or not. This is a failed government. Looking at the dollar is close to 700 naira. And I pray that it's not up to 1,000 naira before they leave office. They don't care. Do we have to borrow money to use that same money to finance terrorists? Is it that we don't know what to do? Nigeria is now like a seasonal movie. It's like 24. But we don't have any Jagba to rescue us from this impending doom. We are just there. We are happy. We are watching it. Of course, they've released a video for that season 1. You have season 2 and season 3. It's coming. It's gradually building up. So, but we are relaxed. We don't want to do anything about it. Then let us rise up. We need to rise up. If it means us abandoning our duties to enter the streets and protest, it is high time we do it. If it means we standing up to say there will be no election in this country to see how we make things right, you cannot keep electing people that are not responsible, people that don't even care about the people that are elected to protect.
Don't you think that there's going to be a military coup anytime soon? Because I don't know what to say again. It's becoming unbecoming.
Well, for some of us, despite the fact that we're in a democratic environment, we are in a civilized world, some of us will be praying for a military takeover, at least for a short period. I'm saying it with my full chest. For a short period, because if you look at the the antecedent, forget the fact that the military men were high-handed, but most of the developments that came into this country were part of the activities of the military government. Because in the military, though they are not devoid of corrupt practices, most of them were corrupt too, but at least they carried out their responsibility. But what you see now is people fail to carry out their responsibility and they still loot funds. It will be good if you carry out your responsibility and you loot funds. We will not have any issue with that. But when you loot funds, you fail to carry out your obligations to the masses. It is something that cannot be imagined. Is the money your father's money? Is it your ancestors that kept that money there? It is our money. It is my money. The fact that I'm not there to take charge of that money, and you've been given, you've been delegated, you've been given that responsibility to manage the funds for all the citizens. So if the military will take over and to make this nation better, I am in support of it. But it will be very bad if the military takes over as a state. In some African nations, the military are taking over. And that's because they have what is playing out in Nigeria in their own places. At the point where the military will get fed up, they will take over. Don't we already have a military takeover? The person we have there is, a retired army general. So what are we talking about? We're already there. So it is not something that we should is for the next 2 or 3 months. So once you're coming to court now, they've not started this trial already. What they are still doing is to move bail application and to amend charges. Now let's say for one sitting now, they will move a bail application, then they adjourn it to the next 3 months. The next 3 months, they will amend charges. Then I say, my lord, we want to reply to this, the charges that have been amended. They will go, they will file a motion the next 3 months. In the next 5 years or 6 years, he's not done with his trial. They've not even, no, the prosecution witness is not in the box already. Now, the UN coming out to say that Nnamdi Kanu is a what do they call it, a prisoner of yes, a prisoner of conscience, is a step in the right direction. Now, I believe they have good minds that have gone into this matter, looked at it critically, and found out that this man is not as guilty as the Nigerian government makes it to look. I am one person that stands against people coming out to make declarations that will put this nation, cause an uproar in this nation and put us into chaos, because nobody wants a repeat of what happened in the civil war era. If we want to divide as a nation, it's something that should happen peacefully. Now, does someone have the right to say, I don't want to be part of this union called Nigeria? Of course, nothing stops you. You have your freedom of association. You have your freedom. There's freedom everywhere. But the manner in which you go about it is what matters. At some point, I felt Nnamdi Kanu was saying more than what he's allowed to say, because I follow him on social media. There are some utterances that he made, though you might relate that to him being angry with the situation, the fact that the Nigerian government was not even giving him a face. But kidnapping him to Nigeria is not the right thing to do, knowing that yes,
Let me quickly come
yes,
in here because of our time.
okay,
Rajamachi,
okay,
Nnamdi Kanu, who happens to be my brother.
Yeah.
It starts with
Okay.
that because we're from the same state.
okay,
So that's name Ade was trying to call is Onyendu.
okay,
That's leader,
okay,
the one who leads.
okay.
Okay, good. Now let's bring this to bear now. Do you have any idea, before we get to the UN, do you have any idea as a lawyer what proposition, official proposition, that Nnamdi Kanu has made to the Nigerian government with regard to the cessation of Biafrans out of the Republic of Nigeria? Is there any document like that? Is there anything we can think about? Have you found any?
Well, I have not seen any document
Okay.
in that
So there
regard.
is no
Yes.
official proposition to the Nigerian government
Well,
that we seek to become a nation, an independent nation. We don't have any information like that officially.
yes, there's no official document.
Now let's come back to something very, very important. I have lost Igbo brothers. We have lost Igbo men. We have lost a whole lot in the process that has led to where Nnamdi Kanu is today.
Okay.
And that is not a joke for the average Igbo mind. But let's
Okay.
bring it to the UN now, saying that he is a prisoner of conscience. Before we had the jailbreak in Imo State and the Southeast, the way it is presently is right now. From the business owners being stopped, forcefully stopped from going about their private businesses, with the Southeast economy being being jeopardized in the process of all this. Is the Nigerian government doing what they ought to? That is a no-no, because if someone is guilty, you should try him and send him to prison, tense him, so that everybody knows, okay, this is what you're trying him for. But the UN taking a position that they have taken now, did you in any way think that they considered the outcome of Nnamdi Kanu's push for the Biafra and what it has cost other people in the Southeast and beyond, as it is? Remember, before you go into this is a man who has put a bounty on an elected governor of a state in a republic, and I'm talking about Nyesom Wike. This is a man that has gone out of his way, that has made statements, incited people to take actions that have led to a lot of mishaps that could have been avoided. So looking at all this, talk to us again, look at this side by side on the position UN is taking, because you're talking about human rights. There are people's rights that my brother Nnamdi Kanu have also messed with in the process of this whole action. So let's look at this. You're a lawyer, so let's look at it side by side when it comes to rights. I was talking about this yesterday, but wasn't with a lawyer. So now I'm glad I'm having this conversation with a lawyer this morning. So Let's look at this on the issue of human rights. We understand the part of the Nigerian government. That's not news to us anymore. But if the UN is coming up to say, let's talk about the rights of Nnamdi Kanu, what about the rights of those whose life has been cut short, whose businesses have been destroyed in the course of doing this, knowing that nothing official is on the desk of the Nigerian government that says, we want to go, we are Biafrans?
Okay. Like I've been on your show several times, and you know my position as it regards Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra and all. Well, my position on this matter is that anybody is free to ask to leave this union, but forcefully is what I'm not in support of. I also said making utterances that will cause chaos in this country is what I'm not in support of too. Now, we are looking at the legality of Nnamdi Kanu's arrest. And for these issues that you've come out to paint and create, I'm not a sympathizer. I don't sympathize with the IPOB. If they do something wrong, I'll come out and say it. I'm a Rivers man. I know what it means. I know what happened in Oyibo, how, but it's not something we'll come out here to say.
Yeah.
But the IPOB has come out several times to say that these things that are happening is not as a result of their own doing, but it is the activities of miscreants in their land. Now, I tell you several times that when something like this come up, you find people, mischief makers, people who love doing evil, who just want to hijack those processes to ensure that injuries are inflicted on the public.
Yeah.
I do not dispute that fact where you said Nnamdi Kanu talked about a bounty being placed on the head of a governor. That's a very bad thing to say.
Yes.
And
Sorry to interrupt you,
yes.
please. Let me quickly bring that. He disregarded the state, everyone who lived in that state. Everyone, because a governor is elected, is the number one citizen of the state, who has millions of people under him. He disregarded the people of that state. And these are people he also calling. So there's been a lot of chaos, by Samarachi, in the whole Nnamdi Kanu pursuit, okay? Can we begin to look at that side by side with the UN's position? Because if I have lost a brother or a mother or my business has been destroyed, and I hear the UN say this, it seems to me that the UN, you're disregarding the fact that this man has done a whole lot that has affected people. So what about us? Who is going to speak for us? So that's what I'm asking, legally speaking right now. What about the rights of those who have been barely affected by the actions of this man? It's like coming to tell a Rivers man today, this local Rivers man, that you're Biafra. They don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear that
a whole
either.
lot has happened. So can we
I
have
don't
that
want
conversation
to.
briefly?
I don't want to hear that either. That you coming to tell me as a Rivers man that maybe I'm a Rivers man, I'm not a Biafran. Most Rivers people will tell you that, because from the stories we had, we know what our grandfathers and went through during the time of the Civil War. It is not hidden, but those are not the things that I'm supposed to say. But anyone who feels his right has been violated, albeit by the IPOB or by Nnamdi Kanu, the court is open. They can make their complaints to the public complaints, people that can take it up, security agencies. But in a country where there's no security, who acts on this stuff? It is very rare to seeing people act for. Yes.
All right, very interesting, Barrister Amarachi. Really, thank you very much. Let's go over now to patience.
Simply, the question is, the indigenous people of Biafra are actually fighting for a cause, which is to become an independent state. But do you think this will actually come to lifeline, being that their head, Nnamdi Kanu, is still in the custody of government? What do you think about this?
Okay. The Biafran struggle is beyond the person of Nnamdi Kanu. Now, after the Civil War, some persons still held on to the what's it called, the struggle, the issues that led to that war. If you ask a common Igbo man, or if he wants Biafra, the answer will be yes. But it's just that most of them cannot publicly come out to voice their opinion because they are scared of what people will say or how people will view them. But the Biafran cause is not a bad cause at all. I don't see anything wrong with it. But if people are taking laws into their hand in the name of trying to actualize a cause, then I see everything wrong in that cause. But whether Nnamdi Kanu is held there today or tomorrow, even though Nnamdi Kanu dies today, that cause will not die. The cause is bigger than the man himself. The person that's been their spokesman for a while, a man powerful, is someone that they listen to. A man is a very powerful person, and they have been listening to him for a while. So if Nnamdi Kanu is out of the way, there are, like I said sometime on this show, that there are several Nnamdi Kanu all over. But because there is a figurehead already, other persons do not want to take his place. But when that person is removed, then you see persons that are more determined than that other persons to take up the struggle. I have said it times without number that if a section of this country does not want to stay in this country, they should allow them to go. We shouldn't waste our time. This is not an issue we should be talking about. There are nations that have divided over time. There are nations that are together that they are no longer together. But of course, they are living in peace and harmony. But what are we not saying here?
What are we not saying? Questions, so
Yeah.
definitely another diversity. Speaking on matters of struggle, this time around struggle concerning the union and the federal government, and we're talking about the issue of strike, where the union says there will be no end to strike until we have a responsible and responsive government. The Academic Staff Union of University has said only the signing and implementation of a negotiated 2009 agreement will end the over 5-month-old strike. The chairman, ASU University of Ibadan chapter, Professor Ayo Akinwale, said in a statement on Sunday that the union maintained that their members had sacrificed so much on their welfare, lamenting that the federal government owed their members over 9 years allowance. He said Nigerian University would not stop witnessing strikes until responsible and responsive people are in government. Akinwale said Nigerians should not see the strike as a problem of ASU thing, but as a fight for all Nigerians, which as a fight rather, all Nigerians must own to have a future quality education for their children. He stated that the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired government had displayed capacity to abuse trust, saying that the Memorandum of Understanding and Memorandum of Action signed with the government were not honored. According to Akinwale, Nigeria is in the hands of incompetent people due to collective negligence of Nigerians. He said, until we rise above sentiment to get responsible and responsive people who will be accountable to Nigerians into public offices, the cycle of strikes will not end in Nigeria. Barrister Marachi Oholi,
Yes, sir.
quickly, what is your take on the lingering ASU strike and the fact that some members of the union had continually perceived the government, because that's the disposition the government is making them have or see, as insincere towards resolving the issue of the over 5-month-old strike?
Well, the lingering strike should linger. That's been my position. It should keep lingering. If they end this strike, I'll be so pained, I'll be angry, I'll be bitter. Because we have come so far, we cannot turn back now. You cannot lay your hands on the plan, say you want to look back. We are going forward ever, backward never. But my issue, I have an issue with the labor with the labor. They will come out to say they want to carry out a solidarity strike. They've been saying this for the past 4 months that they want to join us. It's just tomorrow that they've made up their minds to be part of the strike. If the labor has joined this strike a long time ago, the government would have been awakened to their responsibility. Because, like I said it some time ago, that people who do not have certificates will not value education. I would not mention names, but but it's just the thing. If you have gone through the university in Nigeria, you will value education. You will know that these lecturers are not just asking for their personal gain. Of course, how much is it? How much did you realize that was given to terrorists? Almost 1 billion naira. How much is ASU asking for? There was a particular time I was with a professor on this show, and he said, the money they're asking for, is it how many billion? Is it 11 billion or how many billion? Is it what the government of Nigeria cannot provide? Even though it means for us to borrow to put our educational sector in place, is it what we cannot provide? Recently, Governor Wike's son graduated from one of the universities with a second-class honors. Now, you saw how people were attacking him on social media, that he was an education minister, yeah, a junior education minister during the time of Goodluck Jonathan. And what happened? There was still strike and nothing was done about it. But we see his son graduating from outside. Now they groom their children outside. They bring them back here to take power. They replace them. I think, what you read out, there was a place I read out where the person that spoke was saying that they bring the wicked leaders bring their children to replace them in power. It's sad.
Now, Barrister Marchi,
Yes.
um, Mr. Kiole said talking about proper leadership, having responsive and a responsible leadership. Now, where is this responsive and responsible leadership going to come from? From where you and I operate at the base, not at the top where the president is, from the base, we are corrupt. We have failed to take responsibilities, even when it comes to the basic thing we should do. We fail to grow ourselves, we fail to provide value at the base. Now, when are we going to have, let me give a simple example. If I work in Atlantic Television Network and I'm given a responsibility and I'm supposed to be responsive and provide proper leadership and I fail to do that, when am I going, if I become a president tomorrow, is that when I'm going to become a responsive and responsible leader? So we keep pointing fingers. Everyone from every sector in this country, we keep pointing fingers, trying to make it this person's problem and that person's problem. So where did Buhari come from? Where did Tinubu come from? Atiku, P2B, where did these people come from? They came from the same place where we are. They grew up in this system, they became this system, and they're manifesting this. So why do you think we keep pointing fingers when we should be taking responsibility from where we are right now?
Now, this your argument is not far from President Buhari and his APC caucus argument, where they ought to take responsibility, but they are throwing back the blame to the masses. Well, I would not want to say that there is no decay in the grassroots. Of course, in our own little offices, we still practice corruption to the high heavens. You go to the public, the civil service, corruption is there. Is it in churches? Is it in mosques? Is it where you buy and sell? People want to carry out corrupt activities for their personal gain. Yes, these things happen. But I am looking at it from the top. Now, before I get to the bottom, let me look at it from the top. The people we easily see, the president, his ministers, and other persons that are closest to them. Now, if the president can, in upright, if he can be upright in his office, he can extend to his ministers and the people that are helping him, his subordinates. From there, he can transcend
Can you give,
down.
yes.
Yes.
Can you give what you don't have?
Well, okay. Before this president got into power, they told us he has it. So that's the reason why he was elected. So he already has it. So why is he not giving it back to us? He has it. They told us you were there. They said he has it. He has it. That's what we are waiting for. We are waiting to see what he has, but we have not seen anything. So let him give us what he has. Now, this is a time where Nigerians select someone who has what they feel he has in 2023. We have to look out for the candidate that best have what he can give to us, because we cannot just elect someone that has nothing and we expect that we'll get something. You cannot place something or nothing, it will not stand. So that is what we want to see.
Now let's go over to our Lagos studio where Chris is standing by. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Ade. Thank you for having me. All right. So, like what happened in the UK, where different lawmakers started resigning and all of that based on the protests, resignation protests based on the government. Why don't we have same thing in Nigeria? Why don't the Minister of Education resign? Why don't these people that are actually in the educational sector, why don't they resign in protest to the bad and dilapidated educational foundation in Nigeria? Why don't we have that?
People don't resign in Nigeria. They never resign in Nigeria. They would rather prefer to rule us from the hospital than to resign. That is what you see. They can never resign. They will never resign. If you want, the education minister, if he's in climes that right climes where people respect the rule of law, where people uphold justice, as we are speaking now, the education minister is supposed to have resigned. The president, you will not find anywhere in the world where the educational sector will dilapidate up to this point, and the president will still come out and give 2 weeks ultimatum to who is it, the education minister. Then the media spokesman will say the president never gave 2 weeks ultimatum. Who does that? The media spokesman is now more than the president. The president will say one thing, the media spokesman is now acting like John the Baptist. He will say another thing because he feels he is more than the president. They will never resign. If you are waiting for people to resign in Nigeria, they will never resign.
Very interesting. We're waiting for them, they'll never resign. Now let's move on to some other matters in hand. Talking about national assets in security, NSCDC set up 24 hours watch
It is laughable that for areas that you don't even have insecurity, you find troops of NCDC officials and police officers manning those areas. My office is close to the Nigerian, it's opposite the Nigerian Labour Congress. There was a day I was going to the office, and the team of policemen, NCDC officials that I saw there, I thought there was a riot that was about to break out. You have such team of policemen and NCDC officials, but you still have banditry here and there. You still have insecurity here and there. Are we saying that we cannot mobilize the army to fight these bandits? Are we saying that Nigeria has gotten to a point where uh, the government cannot even take charge of his own affairs? So him coming out to say it, he shouldn't come out to say it. He should be on the field with them, ensuring that these things are taken care of. That is what we expect of him. It is not just to come and say, this government, they come out and say things. They keep saying and saying and saying and nothing is happening. It's not enough to say. Let them take action.
Now, Pastor Marachi, you
Yes.
raised a very pertinent question. Why is he saying this in the media? Why exactly are they giving us this information? On one hand, you are saying that there is a security alert that you got about the dams and there is now urgent need to protect it. And then you're coming in public to tell us that you're also coming in public, your officers, you've given them information to, it's like, this is like what we've seen play out in the north several times. Before school children are abducted, oh, there is the whatever military formation stations to protect the school is being called off from by orders from above, and after that these guys go in and then carry them in their hundreds and take people's children away from their school. This is like, why are you coming to the public exactly? I don't know, maybe in your estimation you know what this intends to achieve.
Yeah, maybe he's seeking for our help.
To help
He's
them protect
yeah,
the dams.
to help. He wants us to help them protect the dam. That's why it's coming out to the public. Because I don't see the need to come out to the public. Like I said, actions should be carried out. But you find out that in most areas we have round peg in square holes. Round peg in square holes. You see people that they are not supposed to be in a certain position, but they are just placed in that position. So placing such people in such position, that's what you get. Where you cry out to the board, what am I supposed to do? Okay, I'm speaking out. I'm assisting him to speak out. Let us protect the dams.
Okay,
That's fine.
patience.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, talking about protection of the dam, I see it somehow laughable, but will I just say, is this like a dramatic show to show that yes, our security operative are actually working where when there are pertinent places that they should secure, such as the adopters at the train. So should we say this is just a show of saying our security operative are actually working hard?
Well, I don't know what this man seeks, what all of them in general, I don't know what they seek to achieve. I don't know why they come out to make us feel like they are doing something when they are doing nothing. There are certain issues that should be taken care of, but we pay lip services to those issues. We rather want to make people feel that we are working. Who is going to the dam to go and destroy it? Are you not scared for your own life? There are people that are being kidnapped there. You're not talking about it. Why is it that they are not carrying NCDC officials and army men to those forests? How big is the forest? How big is Kaduna State that the Nigerian army cannot go there and fish out these terrorists? How big? Why can't they organize crocodile smile and elephant smile there to ensure that these things are taken care of?
Chris.
All right. Thank you. So I am actually curious too. Does it mean there is no strong hold in the security sector in Nigeria? Because looking at the fact that they have to protect the dams when that place should not really be looked at as a serious case, does it mean there's no security stronghold in Nigeria?
Well, I believe there should be an overhaul, a total overhaul of the security architecture in Nigeria. They should remove some persons and replace them with capable hands. We cannot be having this conversation whereby our people are being kidnapped. You're talking about dams. How can you talk about dams? The job of our security agencies is crime prevention. Crime prevention is part of it. It is not damage control. We are tired of experiencing damage control. We always wait for things to happen before we take action. Where is the intelligence gathering? Where is the actual crime prevention? Crime prevention doesn't happen here. You only have a situation where maybe these criminals on their way to carry out their nefarious activities, they now maybe they have let's say they accidentally meet with these security operatives and they open fire on them. That's the only one you have. The next one you have is after the incident has happened, they'll be looking for ways to give out money, or we cannot even fight these terrorists. So we don't have a security stronghold. Our security architecture is down. People should be made to lose their jobs for the state of insecurity in this nation. That's the only
Now,
way we
taking
can.
it from where Chris left off when he talked about security stronghold, we are in a country where we cannot, in all honesty, say that this is what would be the outcome of A or B or C. And that's simply because we have this kind of information being put in public space. Again, I go back to my earlier position on this, which you attempted, but the part you didn't talk about is this. When this comes to public domain. We're being to NSCDC setting up 24-hour surveillance at the dams. Maybe there are some gold or diamonds hidden in the dams that these people need to steal, or maybe they need to destroy it so that we don't have power. I don't know what exactly they need to do at the dam. Officially, there ought to be security at the dams.
Yeah, sure.
There should be official security at the
Of
dams.
course.
Now, if they, unless they are not doing well, or maybe there is an information you got and you're coming in to tell us that again, is this supposed to show, like patients said, that they are working, or is this supposed to show that, is this a charge that we need to, okay, see, I'm just letting you guys know this is what we're doing. What exactly is it supposed to be? With all the pockets of insecurities going on in every nook and cranny, and with all of us hearing that this has been taken care of, and this is being to reassure the people, you're telling us there are dangers around the dam, there's a security alert, I want to take care of this. Again, look at this on the other way around. What exactly are we supposed to be achieving with this right now?
Maybe. I just try to reason it now. Maybe he's trying to put it out to us so that if it eventually happens, we will know he came out to say it and will absolve him of all responsibilities. That is just what he's trying to do. Because aside that, there is nothing you can validly say this is what this person is seeking to achieve. Because they already have the mandate to protect the dams, right? It is in their hands. They already have the mandate. So why coming out to tell us? Is it that you've seen that there's a force that you cannot contend with, and you're waiting for it to happen so that you just say, I've said it to, we've tried our best to, and this is what happened. So in his own place, he should carry out his responsibility. After he's done with carrying out his responsibility, but whatever happens, well, we will take it. We have been taking it. We'll still take it.
So where does all this leave us? The security architecture in this country is clearly crying for help.
say it's important for INEC to investigate the issue of vote buying so that we can have a free and peaceful forthcoming 2023 general election.
All right, thank you very much, Patience. Chris?
The angle of Mossop. Yeah, is it Mossop? Oh, it's in the IPOB. Yeah, the victims and what they are going through, people should also look into it and not just the race for Biafra. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chris. Adejimo?
Well, mine is simply the issue of Mavi Nnamdi Kanu where the UN is calling for his release and some sort of payment for the damages that he has suffered. I think the Nigerian government should begin to show the world that they are responsible and they are ready to grow if they continue to call themselves a nascent democracy in the light of what true democracy is actually.
All right, it's been a beautiful show with everyone this morning, and that's how we say thank you for joining us. My name is Vivian Douglas, but the show doesn't end here. We're leaving the live studio, but let's continue the conversation on our social media pages. On Twitter, we're at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Remember that peace and unity are the pathway to progress. Enjoy the rest of the shows.